Howdy, my name is Mitchell Whittington from the Visit Jefferson YouTube channel, and today I want to share a tasty piece of Jefferson's past with you. The legend of Jefferson's famous Moody Dog. No, that's not what I'm talking about at all. Not a dog that's kind of moody, no. In Jefferson vernacular, a Moody Dog is basically a chili dog, but letting it go at that would be a culinary crime of epic proportions. Yes, the delicious Moody Dog has quite a story to tell. It all started at Moody's Cafe on Austin Street in Jefferson. It was basically a hamburger joint that was really popular with high school students in the 1940s, 50s, and 60s. As the story goes, high school guys would go to Moody's Cafe after football practice for burgers. Now, a Moody Dog without the wiener, but just the chili, was the perfect appetizer while the burgers were being cooked. I should mention that the burgers that the boys were waiting on were made like the present-day smash burgers that have become so popular. They added flour to the meat to make it fry crispier. They'd put a handful of meat on the griddle and start mashing it with a spatula, and finally flipped it to get the other side done. At any given time, you might see a dozen or so patties on the griddle. Getting back to the Moody Dogs, though, there was a lingo associated with them. People ordered them either with or without, a preference to whether or not you wanted the wiener in the bun with the chili or without one. In other words, the chili is always there, but the wiener is optional. Yeah, the chili is the star of the show. A Jefferson historian and friend of mine, John Taylor, described the interior of the Moody's Cafe as follows. He said the griddle and refrigerator were against the west wall, then the counter, and then bar stools. Immediately behind those stools was where the slope started, and you began to kind of walk downhill with one leg higher than the other. There were maybe 4 wooden seat booths against the east wall. Now, as far as I know, there's no photographs of the old place, but it probably looked something like this, although this is probably cleaner and nicer. The Moody's building was old, dating back to the late 1800s. The slope that John was referring to came from the damage to the building caused by Jefferson's 1945 flood. You see a picture of it here, and at this picture, Moody's has a good foot or two of water inside. The water damaged the floors and the foundation, and they never repaired the footings. In his book, Growing Up Jefferson, John wrote, quote, Moody's unique architecture also featured a floor that slanted nearly as much as that famous tower in northern Italy. But this was caused by the Jefferson flood of 1945. Moody's outlasted all the other downtown eateries, however, and I ate there many times as an adult. That floor never got fixed, though, and if you wanted to sit in a booth, you could probably roll down there faster than you could walk to it. My friend John also told me that, quote, when I ate there as an adult, my usual course of dining fare was 1 Moody Dog with, 1 without, and a cheeseburger wrapped in that thin, opaque paper that shows the grease on it. Man, I think they probably had other sandwiches like a BLT or fried egg, but I never tried those. John also recalled, there were no French fries to be had, though, just potato chips. I think I remember chips made by a company called Morton's, end quote. And that does make sense to me. Morton's was a popular regional potato chip in Texas during the 50s, 60s, and 70s. By the way, as long as I'm talking about John, I should mention his book, Growing Up Jefferson. It's an incredibly entertaining look into being a kid in Jefferson back in the day. You can find it several places around town, including the Jefferson Historical Museum and the Port Jefferson Outpost. You should really pick up a copy on your next trip. You'll even get to hear about the places that his parents wouldn't dare let him frequent because they had what John referred to as the, quote, axis of evil, end quote. Cigarette machines, pinball machines, pool tables, and, heaven forbid, a jukebox. John's book really is a fun read, and it's a delightful glimpse into Jefferson's past. I can't recommend it highly enough. Eventually, Moody's Cafe closed, but the secret recipe for the Moody Dog lived on. My friends Mike and Pam Watts began serving the signature chili dogs at their Stack-A-Sack grocery store on Highway 59 here in Jefferson. As you can see from the advertisements, they kept the legend alive. In 1990, they erected a huge neon sign advertising Moody Dogs, as you can see in this photograph from the Jefferson Jimplecute newspaper. The caption to the picture read, quote, workers install a new sign over Stack-A-Sack touting that exquisite local delicacy, the Moody Dog. Blinking neon lights help the uninitiated in ordering one of the fine dogs with or without. For years, the Jefferson locals could get their Moody Dog fixed at Stack-a-Sack. When the business changed ownership, though, the chili dogs made their way downtown again. This time to the general store. The Jefferson General Store, that is. The Jefferson General Store began its life as Ballouf Hardware. Built in the 1860s, Rudolph Ballouf... Wait, is that Ballouf? Ballouf? Let's call it Ballouf, okay? If it's wrong, hey, I apologize to that family. Rudolph Ballouf used the building as the first hardware store in the booming riverport town. The location of the building was ideal because it was very near the turning basin for the riverboats. One lasting remnant of the Ballouf's tenure is the large cast iron safe that the store still uses to this day. Rudolph Ballouf ran the store with his 5 children. That's a photograph of him along with an advertisement for his hardware business. Near the turn of the century, Rudolph's daughter, Emma, and her husband, Eugene Meyer Sr., took over and had 5 sons. The store's name was then changed to Eugene Meyer & Son Hardware, and it operated until 1977. Ballouf Hardware, now the Jefferson General Store, has a connection to the famous murder of Diamond Bessie by her husband, Abe Rothschild, in Jefferson back in 1877. There's an entire video about that on visitjefferson.com, so be sure to check it out. Anyway, the Shreveport Times reported on February 14, 1877, that, quote, Abe Rothschild purchased the day before, meaning the murder, a pistol and cartridges at the hardware store of R. Ballouf and Company. You can see that in the first few lines of this actual clipping from that newspaper. The Jefferson General Store is definitely worth a visit when you're in town. You can purchase any manner of Jefferson souvenirs there, including my books, which, of course, makes me a big fan of the store. They also carry almost any candy that you can remember eating as a child, and they have an old-fashioned soda fountain with hand-dipped Bluebell ice cream. It's great. The General Store is probably one of the few places left in the country where you can still get a cup of coffee for only a nickel. The General Store also hand-makes the most amazing pecan pralines that you're likely to encounter anywhere. They're famous, and a lot of folks take home a box every single time they come to Jefferson. And of course, Moody Dogs. Today, the Jefferson General Store is the one place in this world that you can still order one of Jefferson's legendary, historic, and tasty Moody Dogs. Just like they did back in the day, the dogs are served on soft, steamed buns with a wiener and chili. That would be a with order. You can always forego the wiener and just have the chili, and that's a without. You can also add toppings like mustard and relish, but real Jeffersonians usually ignore such things and just go with the bun, chili, and dog. Although, one popular option has become the Louisiana hot sauce sprinkled on. Personally, I love Moody Dogs. Not just for their place in Jefferson history, but also for how delicious they are. I always order mine with, but I promise not to judge you if you order yours without. Well, on your next Jefferson visit, be sure to drop by the Jefferson General Store on Austin Street and check out everything they have to offer. If you're hungry, don't hesitate to belly up to the bar and order a Moody Dog. With or without, your choice. Well, thank you for watching this visitjefferson.com video. You are certainly appreciated, and I hope that you really enjoyed it. It was a lot of fun to make, and I ate a few Moody Dogs in the process. The ones that you've seen in this video, yep, those were mine that I ordered. If you did enjoy it, please click on the little thumbs up hand below. It just takes a second, and it really helps the channel. Also, if you enjoyed it and you'd like to be notified when more Visit Jefferson videos come out, just click on subscribe. Nothing bad happens, I promise you. Just get a notification when a new video is uploaded. And by the way, we've got some exciting ones in the works right now. Well, again, many thanks. I appreciate you watching the channel, and I hope to see you around Jefferson. And hopefully with a Moody Dog in your hand.